What's going on, rock stars? Take two of this episode of the show. Let me just know that you can see me here. Yes, yes, all good this time. All right, rock stars, welcome back. Sometimes life just doesn't go as you plan, and you got to roll with the punches. So now that we have sound, what's going on, rock stars? Welcome back to another episode of the 1% Life. My name is Joanie Dillon, peak performance coach and trainer, here to talk to you about today about a teaching that may just change your life a lot if you let it. So I'm going to take you back to 3 years ago when I first heard this teaching, and it hit me so powerfully. And then I realized that it didn't hit me in all areas of my life. So a year later, I got it again, and that one, boom, 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 smacked me upside the face. So rockstars, are you ready for this? First of all, thank you for joining us live again. There y'all are, I see you. AJ and Caitlin and Michael and Emilo and Josiah, what's going on, you guys? How are you? So rockstars, if you're catching us live on Facebook, drop a hashtag live. If you're catching the replay, drop a hashtag replay. And if you're listening to us on one of our podcasting platforms, please do us a favor. If and when you get value out of this episode or any previous episodes, if you haven't already yet done it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. This is how we're like at 99 reviews. I need one person to get us over 100, and we'll certainly, the universe will pay you back for that amazing karma if you've gotten any value out of the show. So let's get into this. 3 years ago, I'm sitting in Grant Cardone's audience at the 10X Growth Con, and I hear this message from Andy Frisella. Some of you may know who he is. First Form, I think, is the name of his company. He's a pretty amazing guy, pretty hardcore dude, and runs some really amazing podcasts as well. And Andy said this thing that really kind of struck me in an interesting way, and it caused me to look at inside and see, why am I doing this behavior? And is this the person that I want to show up as? And so here's what he said. It's such an interesting, like, just, metaphor for life, right? So he said, how do you go into a public restroom? Like, do you go into a public restroom and you leave it dirtier than when you left, came in? And do you take a piece of paper to open the door and then wad it up and throw it on the ground? That was me. So Rockstar, first of all, if you can relate to this, I want to know, because I was that person. I'm such a germaphobe. I don't touch ketchup bottles. I don't touch anything in public restrooms or restrooms, that too. And I'm such a weirdo. Like, I literally flush my toilet with a piece of paper, my own toilet in my own house. Okay, so highly visual people, like, clear the screen on all that. But like, it's like, that's just who I am. I'm kind of a freak about germs. And when I realized, I'm like, yeah, I take a paper towel, I open the door and I throw it on the ground, because if they don't have a garbage there, then I'm just going to throw it on the ground. What else am I supposed to do with it? And he was saying, like, people go in, they pee on the seats, they leave it disgustingly. It's like, if that's how you're going into a public restroom, how else are you showing up like that in your life? So you ready for the teaching? If it didn't already hit you, how you do one thing is how you do anything. And I heard it, and I heard it contextually at that moment. So it impacted me in the fact that I never again left a public restroom like that. I always would, like, literally carry the paper towel till I found a garbage can. I've never once, I even remember one time dropping it on the ground going, no, that's not who you are. Sorry if you can hear my earrings jiggling. That's not who you are. And I would stop, like, I completely stopped that behavior. So a year later, I was on a call with one of my mentors, Jim, and we were doing this homework assignment. And of course, day one, Jim's always pushing us to the limit. And he said, so how was the homework assignment for you? And people were saying, oh my God, it was so hard. It was so time consuming. It took me all week to do it. Other people were saying, like, I kept overthinking it. I kept rewriting it. I kept doing it over and over and over. And then there were people who said, did you overthink it? A lot of people said yes. Said, okay. Did you start it and stop it? A lot of people said yes. And he says, which that was me. And he said, did you not do it at all? And so he was going through all these different descriptions of, like, how you could have approached the homework. And he said, how you do one thing is how you do anything. And guys, I kid you not, I was like, yeah, but not me. Like, not this. That was just an assignment. I had other things going. I couldn't finish it. Now, when you truly get this teaching, and you start to look at where this specifically applies to your life. Where else are you showing up this way? And I want you to think of maybe a recent project that you had or something that you joined, right? So we're running the Create Your 1% Life Challenge right now. And man, there are so many incredibly active, engaged people creating huge shifts in their life, like massive shifts. And then there's some people that are lurking in the background who are maybe dabbling in it, right? Or the people who got started and they were on so much fire and then they're like, where'd they go? What happened? The weekend, right? Like whatever it was. And it happens every single time. It's human nature, and not everybody's going to show up fully and in total excellence. But if I can bring it to their awareness of who they're being, there's definitely an opportunity for them, if they decide to, at some level, to create the shift, right? And so who are you being when it comes to things in your life? And think about, again, like a project that you're working on right now. Maybe there's a book that you're writing that you've just been taking years and years and years and overthinking this thing to death. Maybe there's a, I don't know, webinar you're creating, a presentation you're writing, something. Look at your process that you're going through and analyze that. And I want you to drop, like, what's the project and what's the word that, or words that you have been, the behavior that you've been exhibiting, okay? And I want to actually read your comments in the chat. So how you do one thing is how you do anything. And if you're approaching something in that way, I promise you, in some other place in your life, you're approaching it that way. And I really had a visceral reaction. I was like, this is not me. Until I started looking at my life, how many things I had started and then stopped because the evidence didn't show up right away, right? Like even my podcast, I had started podcasting. I did it for months and months and months and months. And then I was like, some little thing happened and I fell off. And I didn't go back to podcasting for months. And so I want you to look at, where are you doing this, and maybe that's not for you, like doesn't apply to you, but it could be something else. Are you overthinking anything? So as soon as I'm on a phone call with somebody who's like trying to change their life, like ready for that next level, and I start hearing them talk and they're like, yes, well, I've done this. How many times have you worked through, let's just say it's a presentation. Like, oh my God, it's taking me forever. I'm like, okay, great. Tell me more. The more they start talking about it, I'm like, where else are you overthinking your life? Where else are you overthinking everything that you do? If you can't even get a presentation done that should take you, maybe 2 to 3 hours to create, you can't get that done. I promise you for weeks that you're overthinking every single other area in your life. How we do one thing is how we do anything. And when we can become aware of who we're being in any different area, like how are you doing your relationships? Have you given up? Where else are you giving up? How are you doing your job right now? Are you half-assing it? Because I promise you, you're half-assing a lot of things in your life. Or are you giving up like when the evidence isn't there? See, a lot of people, they wait for the evidence, the writing, the outcome that they want. They want it to show up right away, but they're not willing to put in the persistent effort and work, because those micro commitments of showing up daily and doing the activity, like us. You guys, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be totally honest. I did not want to show up right now. I literally just did half a podcast that the sound was not even on. And I had to come back and my assistant's calling me like, why is she calling me right now? Oh, something's wrong, right? There's things going on and I'm showing up anyway, right? And when you can commit to showing up in total, what we call excellence, commit to living a life of excellence. What does that mean for you? What specifically does that mean to live a life of excellence? To everything that you do in excellence. You do your relationship in total excellence. You do your health in total excellence. You do your career, your job, your presentations, your sales, everything that you do, you approach from a perspective or lens. Guys, my glasses broke and I have a new pair on the way. I sat on them, so like the 50th time probably. So they're finally toast. But how you do anything is how you do everything. Are you choosing to do anything that you do in excellence? And it doesn't mean perfection. Like there's a difference between doing something in excellence and striving to be perfect in it, right? Personally, I don't believe in perfection. I think it's a reason for procrastination. Because like, oh, I just can't get it perfect. I can't, and you probably haven't touched it in months or years, right? Like, I'm only going to do it when I know I can do it in perfection. Well, that's why you aren't doing it at all, because it's an excuse and a reason to not. But what if you were to just show up, right? Like I had to get it together, you know, after some like, oh my God, I had to get into state, right? We talk about mastering your inner power inside this challenge. I had to get back into state. Otherwise I'd show up not so good for y'all, you know, like you didn't want to see what was on the other side of this. And just a few minutes ago, but that's a choice. I could have chosen not to show up. I could have chosen to show up irritated, and which is what I was feeling, or I could choose to show up in excellence, right? Get it together, control what I can control, trick my mind, and change how I feel and the focus that I have. Because I'm telling you today, my thoughts have been a little cray-cray, okay? So I have to shift my focus and my thoughts and decide to show up in excellence because there are other people who depend on that. And when you make it not about you and you make it about others who you serve, trust me, it's a game changer. People feel it. When it's not about you and it's about others, you're putting them first. People feel it, right? They feel it. So the way that the lens that I'd encourage you to step into or to put on, right? To put on is a lens of excellence in anything that you do, from the simple thing of taking your paper towel and actually, if you open a door, now I think everybody's got something that they're using to open the public restroom doors, but put it in the garbage. And if there's not a garbage sitting right out, go find a garbage. You're capable. And leave this condition of the environment that you entered better than when you left it. And so that's something that I always try to do in any environment. It's how can I leave it better than when I entered, than when you entered it. And that's a really powerful, you know, just mindset to have, and then apply that excellence to everything in your life, right? How can I just show up in excellence, right? What can I say or do, or how can I feel to just deliver something in excellence? And even when it's with your partners, anything in your life, just commit to being and living a life of excellence, being in excellence and living a life of excellence. All right, Rockstars, I hope you got value from today's episode. If you did, tag somebody in the comments if you're listening on Facebook. And if you're listening on one of our podcasting platforms, please share this out to your communities, to whoever, to your friends, your coworkers, your colleagues, and get out there and absolutely change some lives today, you guys. Show up in total excellence daily and commit to changing someone's life. Sometimes all it takes is a smile. Be unstoppable today. Peace. Bye, everyone.